Builder series. In this one, we're going to focus on creating your first applications or websites with Lovable. So if you haven't created your account yet, first thing you're going to do is go here to get started. And assuming you have a Google account, you can just say continue with Google, else you could continue with GitHub or just use your email. Since we already have a Google account, we're just going to use that option here. So we'll just go ahead and click quickly through this one and we'll get started. All right, looks like it was signed out earlier, so we'll just log in quickly. All right, and there we go. All right, so the first thing you're gonna notice via the UI is this left section here. Of course, this middle one, which is essentially asking you for your Webapp idea. But also right here, you have your home section, search resources in case you want to do some learning and more. Then you have the projects created by me and all that. But right here in the bottom is also where you should really pay more attention to. You're going to spot the credits that you have. So since this is a free account, we immediately offered about 100 credits, but you can always upgrade to the premium version and get more credits for creating bigger projects. So right here is where you click if you want to upgrade. But let's jump into creating a simple project. So first things first, you're going to immediately notice that Lovable does offer you templates that you can essentially start with. That is, one, it does help you save your credits because you don't want to be spending all of them, especially if the website that you want to create is something that is as close to these ones. If you want to create something from scratch as well, you can just go ahead and just type it in here. All right, for this first one, we're just going to probably play around with something that's already created, and then we could also go on and create a new project. So let's look through here. I'm looking to, for the first project, probably start with a personal profile page, right? We'll go through here, see which one might sit that. This does look like a personal portfolio project, so we could go ahead and click on this one. And on clicking on that, you can just scroll through, see if it suits your needs. If it doesn't look like it, then you can go ahead and create another one. All right, so we see the home portfolio. Okay, before we dive into it, let's look at the other options that we have, right? Anything else here? Looks like a personal profile. This could easily be modified into one, even though it's a blog for starters. All right, so there's, well, we've seen what is possible. Let's just go on here and describe what we want. So let's start with, so I want to create personal profile page. You of course would want to then give more details as to what the kind of as to what you want the page to be about. So you could say web developer with experience and full stack development. Oops. And I would like to showcase some of my past portfolio projects. You could also add, please add links to my socials and GitHub account. And all right, I think this looks simple enough for starters. All right, so we'll just go ahead with that one. So notice when we click on that, it does start essentially loading. Here on the left, you can note what it's doing. So it's saying exploring profile structures and links. And you can see the visuals here, essentially, of what it's doing. For now, it's going through again. It's going through what we described earlier and potentially starting to put this together. So we can see it's starting with the index.css. It's loading tailwind config.ts. And you can always click on this one here, of course, as well, if you want to see in detail what it's doing. So you can see here it's already doing the hero section, the about section as well, right? So we're just gonna give it a little bit of time to complete what it's doing. So I'll just go ahead and close this one here for now. And as it's doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and explain the other sections that we have here, right? So typically, whenever you load, you're creating your project, it's not automatically published. Whenever it's done, if you want to publish a project, you can always come and click here. Here is the button that allows you to sync your project to GitHub. So if you want to later on export your code to your GitHub account, you can go ahead and click this, and that way you're able to also sort of continue working on it locally, either be it through VS Code or any other editor that you're using. And right here, we see we have analytics. This is considering, of course, we've already set up the whole project. You have analytics to where you can go to see how many people are visiting your page. You have cloud integrations. You have design, security, and speed for SEO. And then you have the code where you could, if you click here, it essentially shows you the code that is generated, right? So you can always go in here and essentially look at all the code and tweak it if you want to. And but of course, if you're tweaking, then would definitely always encourage you to potentially do it locally. But even if you to tweak here, you can always make the changes before you click publish again. And then here is cloud. Typically, this allows you to then work on your back end. All right, let's go back to our preview here. All right, so we can see we started off with about 100 credits. It's not a lot really, and it's showing us that we only have 3.8 credits remaining, right? But let's look at the site and see if it's done most of what we wanted, right? So when we started off, we said we wanted links to our socials, right? And we also had, of course, a section to go to our GitHub. And if you click on that, you can see it actually does take you to GitHub. Of course, you'd want to change that to essentially, of course, redirect to your own GitHub account. So if we click on LinkedIn, we see it does direct you to LinkedIn, and for X here, it would, of course, redirect you to that, and email would allow someone to essentially then choose to email you via that. All right. And then for projects, it does show a couple projects that we've worked on in the past. Again, you would want to tweak this to actually represent the projects that you've worked on prior. And if you wanted to give links to them, then you could also always add the links to those. So if you click on this, for now, it's not really taking us outside. It's just reloading the page, but you could always redirect that if you wanted to. So we see projects, e-commerce platform, AI chat interface, developer portfolio CMS, and task management app. And there you go. It does focus again on exactly the context that we gave it. I'm a full stack developer, building modern scalable web applications with clean code and great user interfaces. About me, then it does give, a bit more of your intro. Of course, you would want to tweak this to reflect exactly what you want to say about yourself, and then your tech stack right here. So on a simple basis, I would say it's gone ahead and implemented everything that we wanted. And of course, if you want your project then to go on and be a bit more complex, maybe add a couple more visuals. Maybe you actually want to add visuals of your projects here and how they look like. You could go ahead and do that. Since we still have about 3.8 credits remaining, Let's go back here to, all right. Yeah, we could essentially go back to our dashboard, and we're going to, oh, okay. We're going to use one of these existing projects here. So let's go on Sarah Mitchell's project, and let's just say we decided to start with this one. So it's asking us for the name of the remix. We're going to say try your profile. All right, and we're going to remix that. Just give it a couple seconds to load it up. All right, so it's letting us know it's setting up integrations and finalizing the project. And what it's essentially doing is essentially loading up the same code that was used for setting up this project. One thing we hadn't really played around with on the prior project was tweaking an existing project, right? So you say, okay, I've created this one, or I'll remix this one. What do I do then if I want to change something about it, right? So if we go, okay, let's go back to the top and see what it shows. So it shows home, portfolio, about, and contact. Let's first see what it, okay. All right, so here's describing again what the site is composed of. So let us say, for example, for the, all right, so for the header, go ahead. Okay, so for the header, for the hero section, go ahead and change the name from Sarah Mitchell. Then to your name, right? So to, for example, Jack Stephens, and also do the same for the logo, right? We're doing that because we noticed that the name is repeating itself here, right? So let's see if it can essentially do that. All right. So again, it does go back to your code base and starts to make a couple of edits. We'll just give it a couple of seconds to do that. All right, so it's searching for the Sarah Mitchell files now. All right, we'll give it a couple of seconds and let it do its thing. Okay. Looks like it's loading now. All right, so notice here that immediately it does make the changes, right? So you don't you don't really need to know how to code to do make the changes on your site, as long as you can describe exactly what you want and be as specific as possible. You also want to make sure that you're not really giving it a lot of what you want to give enough context, but don't over explain what you want it to do, otherwise you will get confused. So here it says a build was unsuccessful. So it updated the name Jack Stephens throughout, hero bio, email, and social links. The swiper type errors pre-existed and unrelated to this change. All right, so since they're not really related to this change, we could decide to ignore them, or if you want to fix them, you just have to click on this one. So if anything breaks while it's building, when you click fix, it does go through the code base and tries to essentially make the needed changes to fix whichever error there is. And as we can see, it says it's analyzing the module and summarizing the current error. I'll just give it a few seconds again to see what it comes up with. So it says it added a type declaration file for the swiper CSS inputs. All right, looks like that is done. All right, now again, this photo here or video is not really Jack Stephens, right? So let's say we wanted to change that, right? So or maybe you're not even interested in having the photo there. So you could say find a photo or video to replace the current one in the hero section, right? Jack Stephens is male. So ideally you'd have your own, and you could essentially attach it here and let it add that one. But since we don't have any pre-existing photos for that, we'll just see if it can actually fetch photos from any other photo site out there. So he says it's reviewing media options and gender cues, and we'll let it go ahead and do its thing. Again, I'm just describing what I can work with on the go, but you would be a bit more prepared in regards to the visual assets that you actually want to use. So here it says it's updating the hero media assets. We'll just give it a second to do its thing. I'll just scroll through and look at what I want to be doing next. So maybe here I want to actually, okay, so this is showcasing photos, okay. All right, it's focused on photographer. Again, I'm gonna go the other angle of actually making it focus on being a developer. So I'll change everything completely to the prior project we're working with. All right, so it says it did update it. We don't really see that being reflected here. So this is one of those places where it really does fail on certain things. All right, I guess it's still loading. So I'll just give it a moment to do that. I'll just quickly check the details on this one here. All right, so it says it did make the changes, but you and I can see that it actually did not. So we'll say the hero section still contains the video of a lady taking photos. Please change this. Okay, my laptop is freezing for a moment. All right, so please change this. Okay. Right now, for demonstration purposes, again, I'm okay with whatever change it will come up with. But you personally would want to, again, attach your own photo here and then let it be able to integrate that. All right, so again, it says it's searching for suitable male photographer videos. It might help usually to offer it where you want to have those fetch from, but as we can see here on the left, it says it's fetching them from pixels, which is okay, again, for demonstration purposes. So let's see if it successfully does that. Well, it does say it replaced it with the photographer holding a camera, and that change didn't really happen. So yes, that was a fail on our end. Again, we can see it's still loading, so I'm not going to stop it. I'll just wait and see if it actually does that. Okay, it should have finished now, but the change did not really reflect. Okay. Okay, I'll say I'll say it is not loading. Make the hero section a color gradient instead. Prefer dark colors. All right. I said it's not loading instead of it wasn't replaced, but it should still be able to pick up on the clue that I'm suggesting. All right. As it's doing that, I'll just go ahead and note the next changes. The website is currently focused on a photographer's profile or portfolio. I'm a full stack developer and would like for you to change everything to reflect this. All right, so should be able to load that as well. Okay, so now we know exactly what was going on. It may have actually fetched the photo, but there was some issues in regards to the code, in that it wasn't really embedded as it should have. But since we turned it now to dark section, it was actually able to do that. So let's wait and see if it does implement the next section here. Again, with enough time, you should be able to really take your time and give it the photos that you need by attaching them here, and it should be able to do that. All right. So oftentimes it does help to actually read through what it's doing, because sometimes you might realize it's doing something differently than you would have done it, and then you can always take that essentially prompt back and tell it exactly what you want. But I'm not really concerned because I'm not going to be using this website for anything. And I'll just let it do its thing and see if it actually produces the results that I want. All right. Checking the trial credits that we have here for this session, and I'm seeing it's going close to 0.7. So hopefully it does go through the changes before we burn all those credits down. All right. Okay, I'm still seeing photography related work, so it hasn't really done much of that yet. All right, actually, now when we look at this slow section, prior we did have photography related photos, but now we can see a dashboard, we can see shop floor e-commerce here. The visuals are somewhat related to what a dev would do. Again, you would want to have assets at hand to load into Lovable so that it can actually use your own assets, or essentially give it links to some websites where you might have those, so it's able to fetch them from there. I'm happy with this for now. I'll just let it finish loading. Okay, all right. So the about my work section is still focused on photography. Let me see. So update all pages, update contact form, update their files and then update. All right. I'll just go ahead and type this, assuming it won't change this about my work section yet. The about my work section is still focused on photography. Please update to reflect my skills and projects. As a full stack dev. Again, usually you'd want to offer it more context in regards to what you want it to show. I'm just giving it the most minimum requirements because, okay, so something went wrong here, which it should be able to tell us and we can fix it later. But for now, just wait and see what it does say. I'll just click refresh here on the page and see if it loads. Okay, so it looks like it did resolve that. All right. Oh, looks like I don't have to even prompt this because it's gone ahead and then updated that. So Jackson is the full stack developer with deep expertise in React, Node.js, TypeScript, and cloud infrastructure. Over 8 years experience in shipping production software, has built and scaled applications for startups, agencies, and enterprise clients alike, and blah, 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 blah. So honestly, this looks simple enough to me. And I'll be okay with that. If you want to make it a bit more complicated or extensive, showcasing more things as you want to, then you could go ahead and prompt it exactly for what you want. So there is some pros and cons to starting with projects that are already, or templates that are already built. Definitely one lets you use less credits. If there's any other, like if there's a website app out there that you want to use, we didn't go into that today. You could also essentially always use it as an example or reference. So you could always have maybe 5 websites that are your reference sites and give it the links to those. What it will just generally do is go look at the typical layouts, the CSS styles and properties, and essentially how all the sites are laid out, and try to, in a way, integrate those into whatever you're building. Definitely makes it way easier to have that fast front end section done, and that way you can spend a bit more time on the back end if your website does actually need a back end. For simple sites like this, you typically do not really need much of that. But if you did want to build, a web application with functional back end, then that's where it does help to, in a way, make sure that you actually sync your project with GitHub, and to also integrate, again, Superbest, for example, for your backend handling. So if you wanted to do that, you just click and enable cloud, and also have that integrated within your project, and you could go on to fit it the data that you want to be working on, or the tables that it will be handling. You could also, for bigger projects, be able to enable logins or signups for your clients, and should be able to handle that as well. The most important thing is really one, trying to plan out what you want your project to look like at the end. If you're just starting out and you just really practicing, or maybe just trying to see how much you can do, feel free to maybe start off with a 1-month trial for the project, and get more credits. As you can see, we've used up all the credits that we have already. I did get us a working site, which is good. Something like this would have taken, a little bit of time for someone who's starting out from scratch, but we were able to do that in a couple of minutes. All right, congrats on your first project with Lovable. Just keep practicing with it. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll be sure to follow up with another video to kind of get you through that. If you're working on a project and you're stuck, just let us know as well, and we can definitely always create another video just solely focused on the issue that you're facing. All right, have fun creating.